solve it, making sure that it's there for our recipients. I want to say thank you to the Blue Frog Coffee House for hosting us, and thank you to all of you for being here. It's a great honor to be recognized by the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. Almost 30 years ago, Congressman James Roosevelt, the eldest son of Franklin Roosevelt, the president who first enacted Social Security, founded this organization with a mission to protect, preserve, promote, and ensure the financial security, health, and well-being of current and future generations who would be Social Security recipients. The mission resonates truly with me, as I can often remember hearing my father making those very same points to me. You know, my father was part of that, generation. He called himself a FDR New Deal Democrat, and you know, he believed very, very much in Social Security. And you know, he used to say a couple of things that I never forgot about. He used to say that, you know, I pay my Social Security, well, he would kid me all the time. He'd call me after he was retired, first of every month, and say, keep working, I just got my Social Security check. But the thing about that was, he used to say, you know, I'm very proud about the fact that I pay Social Security, because he used to say, I think about when I pay Social Security as a way of making sure that I'm paying my father back, because my father received Social Security benefits. And someday you'll pay Social Security benefits for me. He said, but the best part of that is your children will pay Social Security benefits to help you. That's the beauty of the Social Security system. Truly one of the greatest programs that I think we have ever enacted in this country. He said Social Security is a promise that seniors rely upon when they retire. Something that we pay into as seniors, or as residents of the United States our entire lives, and a commitment that our nation should absolutely never abandon. You know, my dad was right about that. Social Security is a promise. It's a promise made between generations of Americans. It's a promise that if you give a lifetime of hard work to your children, to your community, and to your country, we will ensure that you can retire with comfort and dignity. It is the great safety net. It was never intended for people to become rich on. It was never intended for people to privatize and to invest in the stock market. It was intended as the great safety net. Ladies and gentlemen, is one of my big concerns with the whole argument of privatization is that if people privatize and they invest it, well, great if they invest it well. But what if they don't invest it well? That is not what Social Security, you know, people can do that with their own investments. That is not what Social Security is about. Social Security is about community, it's about country, it's about all of us pulling together to make sure that every single American has that all-important safety net that we need as a nation, as a people, as a community. That's what Social Security is about. You know, you don't need to be a senior citizen to know how essential the promise of Social Security is for so many folks, especially here in the 24th Congressional District. The 24th District is larger than the state of Connecticut and Rhode Island put together. It stretches from here to Portland, to Auburn, down almost to Binghamton, all the way up to Geneva, out to Rome and Utica, Oneonta, and all the way up into the Adirondacks, into Herkimer County and Old Forge. We have the largest number of Social Security recipients in any single congressional district in all of New York State, all 29 districts. We have more than 137,000 recipients of Social Security benefits. And as someone who's lived in upstate New York my entire life, I understand the hardships that are faced by so many of our seniors who live on a fixed income. I know that dependable benefits can make a difference between a life of comfort and a life of worry for retired and disabled workers. That's why I fought for Social Security at every single opportunity in Congress. That's why when recipients didn't get their COLA, as Max spoke about, I led the fight to include a $250 payment for seniors and veterans in the recovery bill. And why I co-sponsored legislation that would give those same seniors and veterans an additional $250 payment this year. Because I know that while indicators that the government uses may say the cost of living index did not rise, the cost of your medicine, among other things, did. And that's one of our other problems. The index that they use, the cost of living index, is really gauged more for working people, not for people on fixed income. And that's one of the concerns that Max and I work on each and every day, making sure that the new formula, that we find a better new formula to take into consideration people who live on fixed incomes, because that is absolutely critical. Now imagine, I want to shift to something I just mentioned, imagine if Social Security had been privatized in 2005, as many people had talked about. Seniors would have been forced to hand over their Social Security benefits for Wall Street to gamble on the stock market. When the economy collapsed in 2004, they could and probably would have lost billions of dollars in income, along with retirement savings that they may have had. That is something that we absolutely cannot risk. That's a risk beyond the taking. It's something that we just cannot afford to do. Max, because your organization stood up and fought to protect Social Security, that did not happen. Because everyday people all over the country stood up and said no to privatization. No one has lost a penny of their Social Security during these very challenging times. And while other problems have developed, the one thing that you can count on is that safety net of Social Security being there. That is the one thing that you can count on. Unfortunately, however, Social Security is still very much at risk. With it, the present and future livelihoods of many retired workers in upstate New York. Wall Street interests are trying to scare and mislead folks into giving up the benefits that they're rightfully earned from a lifetime of hard work. They make false claims that Social Security has caused the deficit, that Social Security will soon be depleted. Well, let's talk about the facts. Here are some of the facts. Social Security is self-financing. The trust fund can pay full benefits until 2037. So for 27 more years, if we do nothing at all, Social Security will continue to remain solvent. To the 137,000 constituents in the 124th district who depend on Social Security, you fought for this country. You've built this country. You've worked day and night simply to ensure that future generations would have the opportunities you were never given. You've earned your Social Security, period. And we as a nation need to make sure that we assure you that that will continue and that we will do what is necessary to make sure that Social Security doesn't just continue until 2037, but that it continues on indefinitely. And I'm one of the people that thinks, hey, look, we do need to look at, we do need to explore other ideas. The thing that we have to be careful of, when people talk about exploring other ideas, they often say everything's on the table. Well, everything is not quite on the table. Because we need to make sure that the idea of individuals getting what they have entitled to them, what they have coming to them, continues, and that we don't look at privatization. That cannot be on the table. It is just not something that is feasible. That goes against the idea of what Social Security. And I think people misunderstand, and they intentionally try to sort of deviate from what Social Security was intended for. It is not an investment. It is not, an IRA. It is not something that you choose to invest in a particular way. It is the great national safety net. It is the program that we all can rely upon. To the rest of my constituents, you work hard to provide for your families, to grow your business, and to contribute to your communities. You pay your Social Security taxes. You can and should rightfully expect the benefits owed to you after a lifetime of hard work. But if these Wall Street interests win, current and future generations of upstate New Yorkers will have their benefits subjected to the market's ups and downs. The trust fund's ability to pay our benefits to our seniors will be reduced, and Wall Street banks will receive up to $940 billion in windfall profits for market fees. That is something that, one, they don't need, two, that they just cannot have. So today, I make this pledge to all of my constituents in the 24th district, that I will continue to fight to strengthen Social Security for not just you, but for future generations of upstate New Yorkers. That I will oppose any plan that cuts your benefits or forces you to hand off your retirement to the whims of Wall Street. And I will never forget what my father said to me, because sometimes the very best advice you get comes from very close, comes from right at home. And he taught me about Social Security, and that is that Social Security is a fundamental American promise. And we, as Americans, must never forget that promise that we have made to not just our parents, but to our future generations. Max, thank you, and thank you all very much.